Is this thing on? Welcome back to Big Mouth and fancy seeing you here in June. A very welcome, my friends, and especially my enemies. Come in, sit down, no touching. I don't do the touching. Wait a minute. Am I encouraging people to use physical violence by slapping myself in the face? Of course I'm not. So shut the fuck up. So welcome to my video, because yesterday Scarlett Johansson shocked the whole entertainment industry by being honest. Well done, Scarlett. It's about fucking time, isn't it? Should we read what she said in The Independent, which is a respectable British newspaper? You may not understand respectable journalism over in America, but over in the UK, we talk real talk. So, I'm in Cyprus. I live in Cyprus, by the way, expat. Pleased to meet you. Scarlett Johansson has addressed the casting controversies she became embroiled in over the past few years, maintaining that she should be allowed to play anyone, as she should be, right? In 2018, the actor stepped down from playing a trans male character in a new film, Rub and Tug, after receiving widespread backlash for the casting decision. The move angered many trans actors and queer activists who argued that there was an entire roster of trans male actors to play the role instead of her. I know, because actors are not supposed to play totally different entities, become something that they're not. That's not what acting's about, is it? Yes, that's exactly what acting's all about. You know, I think trans people, trans actors should be able to play people who are not trans. I think gay people should be able to play straight people, and so on and so forth. That is what performance is all about. That's what I was taught when I went to fucking RADA. All right? In a new interview with As If, she said, you know, as an actor, I should be allowed to play any person, or any tree, or any animal, because that is my job, and the requirements of my job. Again, that, you thickos, is what acting is all about. Any talented actor should be able to play embody anything, right? Because that is what acting is. Why don't you understand this? Because all you're good for is getting offended about anything, right? Let me slap myself in the face again. Offended about that? Good. Right into the BBC, even though I don't work for them, right? Complain to me, report me to YouTube. They'll probably take my whole channel down. Well done, great. Because you're so offended. Right. I feel like it's a trend in my business, and it needs to happen for various social reasons. Yet there are times it does get uncomfortable when it affects the art, because I feel art should be free of restrictions. Johansson continued, adding that society would be more connected if we just allowed others to have their own feelings and not expect everyone to feel the way we do. Exactly. But that is not what this generation is. If you don't agree with everyone, if you're not the same as everyone else, you've got to be rooted out. You've got to be downvoted on the internet. Isn't that how it works? Downvote me. Come on. I'm not even monetized. It doesn't matter. Just 1 year earlier, Avengers Endgame star Johansson faced criticism upon the announcement she was to play the lead in a live-action version of a Japanese anime Ghost in the Shell. Fans accused it of being another example of Hollywood whitewashing. And this is so ironic, right? Because Disney have just announced, haven't they, that a woman of colour is playing a role that's always been predominantly white. Ironic, isn't it? It's so ironic, and it's so funny, and it's so embarrassing for the people who get so offended when it's done to their cultures, but when it's done to another culture, it's okay. I'm all for representation. I'm all for equality, but it's got to be down the middle. It's got to be fair, and it's not fair right now. In Mary Claire's March cover interview, Johansson said, I certainly would never presume to play another race of a person. Diversity is important in Hollywood. I would never want to feel like I was playing a character that was offensive. Hang on a minute, Scarlett. No, I'm not having this. I applauded you before. I'm not going to applaud you. I'm going to call you out for this, right? You should be trying to offend people. That's what great art is. You should, If you get the job to play an Asian character, so be it. They want you because you're Scarlett Johansson. And if Asian characters want to play white characters, why not? But this is the problem now, because we are getting Asian people and people of colour playing predominantly white roles. But when it goes the other way, it's whitewashing. It's disgusting. There's a meritocracy going on. There's an unbalance going on. This is not how representation in a fair society should be. You know it, and I know it. Johansen's Avengers salary was recently revealed. The staggering amount ranks her among the top 5 highest paid Hollywood stars for her role of Black Widow. I don't care how much the woman earns. I don't care. She's in an industry where people get paid a lot of money in the top tier. That's the way it is. That's the way it's always been. And I think that's it. So basically, the whole of the internet has gone absolutely outraged at Scarlett Johansson's free-thinking comments, because we don't like free thinkers, do we? Shall I read some of these comments? Let me pause this and I'll come back. I'm going to go on Twitter. So this is Blue Tick Nina Mohan. Imia, what does it mean when they say that I am AO? I've never fucking known that. I'm old. I'm 46. Scarlett Johansson was asked about giving up the trans role and then immediately jumped to comparing playing different gender identities, ethnicities to animals and trees. Okay, hun. Oh, are you offended? Are you? Never mind. Scarlett Johansson is the highest paid female actor in 2018, banking $40.5 million, but she feels entitled to take roles away from Asian and trans and other underrepresented actors. Oh, really? Oh, really? No, that's not. It's not about entitlement. She's saying she's free to play whoever she wants. And guess what, Nancy? Because I don't know if you're an actor because you've got a blue tick. I can't be bothered to check your bio. But whatever you are, right, you have the right. As an actor, you have the right to play white characters and maybe a male character. We've seen Saran Jones do it, haven't we? You know, she's playing a trans character. It's funny, actually. I want to find Saran Jones's interview. I might try and pause this video again. But anyway, right, yeah. So she's talking about underrepresented actors, but they are free to play white characters and male characters if they're females, or female characters if they're males. That is what acting is. And this is, Nancy, what you don't understand. You're too busy getting offended about everything when you don't understand. You know, there are a lot of underrepresented cultures. I'm a Greek Cypriot. Is there going to be a Greek Cypriot James Bond or Superman? Of course not, because we don't shout and scream about it all the time. We're too busy fucking eating our kebabs, drinking beer, getting laid and having a good life. That's why we don't think we should be represented. Listen, right, the truth of the matter is, I want to see representation, but the truth is, you can't represent everyone, right? You can't. It's just simply not possible. This is why this whole concept is absolutely insane. Iggs. Who's Iggs? He's got a blue tick. Play any role she wants. You mean like actors do. And that's what you all are bitching about today. Well done, Iggs. I applaud you, mate. Well done. And who's this one? Scarlett Johansson, the highest paid actress in the world, not stepping aside to give opportunities to minorities, but with her 140 million net worth, would rather complain that she isn't happy because she can't portray a few roles that are actually written for minorities. Fuck off. This is Courtney. Basically, she's probably a bot. You get a lot of bot when they're not got close-up profile pictures. But basically, it's more bollocks chat. It's spin. It's extreme left spin. As I said, the extreme left is as dangerous as the extreme right. It's all about moderate people. Now, people in the middle who want to listen to both sides. And unfortunately, extreme lefts and extreme rights are so in a bubble, they won't listen to you. So if they ever get into power, we're in trouble. Hang on a minute, extreme rights are already in power. Next thing will be extreme lefts. They're scary. Anyway. So, yeah, it's hilarious. Nancy Wong Yung. Is this the same woman again I read? After much thought reflection, Scarlett Johansson finally speaks out on a whitewashing controversy. I should be allowed to play any person, any tree, or any animal because that is my job. Oh, and this time she's obviously a journalist and she's got like these red cheeks emoji thing, right? Look, I've had enough of this. I'm going to try and find Saran Jones's video to finish off this video. Welcome back. You don't realise how hard it was to find this article, and because I paused it, it was like we jumped through time and we're back together. So let's read this. Saran Jones, who's in a new drama called Gentleman Jack, is saying that straight actors unfairly criticised for taking LGBT roles. And I totally agree with this. So this is going to be the final part of the video. Straight actors are singled out for criticism when playing LGBT roles, despite being just the face of the project. The actress Saran Jones has said, Jones, who plays lesbian diarist Anne Lister in new BBC drama Gentleman Jack, said the controversy about portraying a different sexuality on screen would not be as great if people thought more intelligently. Saying actors, let me reread that. Did I read that wrong? Who plays blah, 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 blah. Jack said the controversy about portraying a different sexuality on screen would not be as great. Oh, right, yeah. If people thought more intelligently, and this is the thing, people don't think intelligently on this subject. Saying actors are the targets of complaint about LGBT representation, with directors, writers, and other staff not being taken into account. She argued that if the entire staff on a project were considered controversy would fade away. The actress plays the 18th century figure Lister, who wore male dress, created a coded diary of her life, including her conquest of women. Jones has said, as the figurehead of a show tackling LGBT issues, she's the one who would be the target of criticism over the on-screen sexuality. She told the Radio Times, actors are just the face of a project on this job. There were a lot of gay, lesbian and straight people giving their input, and I think people forget that when they point the finger at actors and say that only straight actors should play straight parts, no one ever points the finger at the directors and the writers, which I find odd. I think that's because we're the face. Yeah, but Saran, do you want your fellow directors being blamed instead of you? It's not very heroic, is it? If people thought about a little more intelligently, the question wouldn't come up so much. Jones has said that her character is a fascinating subject who just happens to be a lesbian. The sex scenes in the show, she says, avoided being gratuitous. Writer Sally Wainwright, oh, I love Sally. She's a genius. I didn't even know she was doing this. The thing I probably love most all about Anne Lister is that she never felt sorry for herself. Exactly. Exactly. In a world that could easily have had no place for her because she was conspicuously a masculine oddity, the word lesbian wasn't used then. She refused to be invisible, she refused to conform, and she refused to be downhearted. The full interview can be read in the Radio Times. So, basically, it's more of this, it's the same thing that Scarlett Johansson is going through. But just imagine, right, being a lesbian woman dressed up as a man in what, I don't know when that's set, let's see, the 40s or 50s or whatever, right? Imagine that, right? You hear people from the LGBTQ community constantly whining that they're not treated equally, when they are. In the 21st century, you are. Back then, these poor people would have been stoned, murdered, beaten the shit out of, right? And you're complaining because you're apparently underrepresented. You're not underrepresented on TV and film. But the point is, and I'll go back to Saran Jones talking about this controversy, the problem is why people feel entitlement of representation is because the subject has been broached by the very people in the industry to seem hip and fair and representational. And now everyone wants to be represented. A Greek Cypriot guy wants to be represented. People from the LGBTQ community want to be represented, and they should want to be represented, and they should be represented, and they are represented. Guess who's not represented? Greek Cypriots. So at the end of the day, you're an actor. You should have a right to play any form, any person, any sexuality, any culture. That is the nature of the beast. And if you don't like the beast, stop watching television and film. Goodbye.